Hey, here with Heritage Taxidermy, and I have a really dirty deer hide today, and just want to show you guys what flushing these is like. This hide was clearly rolled in leaves and stuff, and then it's gonna do a dry tan when this is all said and done. But pretty simple to flush these things. Takes not too long. This one's got a little more meat on it, but we want to get all that off, and then we're gonna end up salting it and then rolling it up, and tomorrow I'll unroll it, give it a little bit of extra salt, and hang it to dry. This will be dry tomorrow and ready to tan after that. But we're gonna get to flushing this, and just kind of want to show you how simple it is. You saw my board when I picked this up. I made my own. This is just 2x8 that I rounded down, and a treated 2x8, which, I mean, obviously it's caked in all sorts of stuff now, but just go at this. This is a I believe it's a 14-inch Weeby curved knife. Oh, 12-inch says on it yet, but this is just a push blade, and then it's got a nice sharp edge to it that helps catch any of this meat and fats and push it right off. But it's pretty simple. Just got to get under that first layer of fat and meat, and then we just push and push and push, and just kind of work it all off. Some guys like using pressure washers for this, but I'm a blade guy. I used to use the pressure washer, and it's wet and messy, and I'm here in Michigan, and it just ends up being too much during the winter months. You can see how this just kind of scrapes right off. And I'll do this around the whole hide and just get it free and clear of any meat and fats, and then I'll hang it up, or I'll salt it, and then tomorrow I'll hang it up, and it'll be dry before tomorrow is over. So kind of a nice little process. But I've got this blade, which has a nice sharp edge to it, and then I have another blade right here that has a dull edge to it. This one's more for pushing, so it works pretty good when you got thinner skins like bear with fat and stuff. Deer, I don't really worry about going with or against the grain of the hair. Bear, I'll normally start with the tail and then move to the front. With these knives, if you go too deep with a bear, you'll actually cut the hair follicles, and then they'll fall out during the tanning process. The other nice part about this, you saw me just do, is I'm kind of sliding it to the side, so when I get that nice roll of meat that's still against the skin, it cuts through it with the sharper blade, and then kind of rolls it off there a little easier. So we'll just kind of keep this going. This is going to be an unedited video, just because, like, I really don't want to take the time for it, and then you can kind of see how long it takes. It doesn't take a lot of strength, but it pops this off pretty easily. So see how quickly it's going along. But what I do is I get all of this off, or at least the majority of it. There's a thin layer on here that'll hold. I run my fingers along the blade like that every now and then, clean off the fats. Just keep it kind of sharp. That way it gets down underneath that. But you can see, like, I kind of have a fibrous layer there. Sometimes that doesn't always come off, but that's okay. That'll come off in the shaving process when I'm tanning it. I'll salt down well yet. Probably break out a sweat because I closed the door of this room, but it's a mess behind the door, so don't need everybody seeing my messy days. But it's a good example of a hide to hide to do, one that'll take a little bit extra because it's got so much to it. But this room right now that I'm standing in has probably 50 hides in it that I've been doing lately, because if you watch one of my previous videos, you'll see I show a dry tan of one of these completed, and it's just really nice. But I got a bunch of people asking for them, so I'm trying to get a bunch of them out of my freezers and get them processed. It's much hotter in this room when there's no door open and no circulation. These are pretty small rooms too. You see me throwing stuff to the side here. I just have a trash bin right there. Just try to keep things a little more clean. You can see, show you this quick before I continue on. We're about half fleshed. You can see one side's nice and white already, and the other side full of leaves and fats and meats yet. So I'll go around that side now. Won't take much longer, you know, double the time I got, and then I'll go run around the whole edge to make sure there's nothing really hanging on the edge. Then we're done. So pretty simple process. Just try to do a couple of these each day, just because I got, I don't know, 4 freezers full of them, of just deer flats, and they're just a good little thing I carry at the shop, and I got a bunch of pre-sales on them right now. So if you're looking for that, you can message, get them. Turn out really nice. It's like almost like a garment tan. People use them for like a throw or hanging them on their furniture and stuff. Obviously, the more you use deer, the more it'll break down, but it'll still take a long time. Deer hair follicles are hollow, so they break down a little quicker. I sweat easily, so sorry, but got to show the process. Pretty cool stuff. Gives me a little bit of strength yet too. This taxidermy isn't a very physically demanding job most of the time. So you get things like bison and 400-pound bear and moose and stuff like that. Then it starts getting a little more physically demanding, but overall it's a pretty chill job. Not a lot of up and running and heavy weights or anything like that. So pushing and pulling these hides helps keep me a little better in shape, even though I'm not in shape at all right now. So let's hope this works out as a good video, because this is a one shot and done. See how that kind of hangs up there? It's just because it's a little more fleshy there. Not as much fats and meats there, so a little harder to get it off of there. And it's okay if there's just a little bit left on there. I mean, like I said, this is getting salt dried. Be completely salt dried by tomorrow. Deer don't take very long, which is really nice. This little tag end, I don't like this hanging off, so I'll just cut it off, round out that edge a little bit better. Like I said, some of this stuff just doesn't like coming off that well. You can see it's a little fattier, or not fattier, that little membrane is still kind of hanging there. So we'll just leave it, not a big deal. Salt will dry that up really easily. The edges, the salt dries up really easy. Now we're pretty much to that point of going around the edges, making sure they're just kind of cleaned up. Like I said, with deer, I don't really worry about what direction I'm going, because I'm not gonna get through this thick hide with this blade. I could if I went to the side like that. I like to keep it up towards the top of this this fleshing beam, because it's an older one that I made, and it's not as rounded farther down low, so the blade doesn't catch as well the farther down you go, and you're more susceptible to cutting through stuff down there. So I like to keep stuff up high. My body's leaning against it. That's why I wear the apron, because your chest and belly is gonna get all covered and stuff. So ruined a few shirts before I finally broke down and bought an apron. A lot of times I keep a scalpel nearby too, just in case I can't cut something with this. It's like that fibrous membrane there gets to the edge, just kind of slice it off. Nice and simple. Now this is getting more up into the neck area. This stuff doesn't like to come off as easy, so I dig a little bit more with the blade of this. Not a whole lot more, because I don't want to poke holes, but just enough to catch that membrane. See how that big chunk just peels off nice and neat. Gotta get that blade right up and under it. Now that big long stretch won't make a good looking piece on the garment either, so cut it off, throw it out. It's not much, you know, it's not going to affect the overall of it, but just makes it look a little cleaner around the edges. Not going through and making a nice shape out of this, kind of natural shape, whatever somebody drops off. But I don't want a big tag hanging off, you know, I don't want it to look trashy in that way. So a little bit of a tag there. This is that neck region, like I said, and it just doesn't shave the greatest, or flesh the greatest. So yeah, that looks like that's the majority. There's a few little small spots here yet. Dig down a little deeper here. There's a little fatty layer here. I don't mind getting it off. You can see the client had a hole in it right there, so that'll stay. Sometimes if it's close enough to the edge, I'll trim that out, that way there's not a hole. But that one's got that one's not very close to the edge, so it's another tag hanging off of a leg or something. Actually, the brisket always cuts a little weird, so clean that brisket section up a little bit. This part's still a little frozen. I didn't have this thawing quite long enough. There we go. Simple enough. There's wherever you shot it. Processor didn't do, or butcher didn't do very well cutting out that bullet hole, but they care about the meat, not the hide. So I've done, I don't know, 50 of these in the last month. just get out a couple to work on each day. Like I said, trying to get the freezers a little more empty. Got 50 to 100 of them, or I got about 100 of them in the freezers, I'm guessing. Just enough to keep me annoyed. I don't mind flushing, like I said, but it's pretty easy process. Not a big chunk. I think that's it. All right. Yeah, so that's it. Right up to the edges. Nice and clean. I'm gonna hold this up as good as I can. So that's that. So you can see there's a little bit of red to it yet. That's just blood spots. This has these hold a lot more moisture than you'd think. So we're gonna salt this nice. Right behind the camera, I have a salt table, and I'll salt it up. I'll roll it, stand it on end. That way all the blood runs out of it. And then tomorrow I'll stretch it out. If anything needs resalting, throw a little bit extra salt on it, roll it around, and then I'll hang it up. I got a fan right behind the camera as well. Put a fan on it, and it'll dry it up in 5 hours probably. It's pretty quick. So that's fleshing a deer hide. I call them a deer flat. So if you're looking to get a deer flat here, deer hide, tanned, whatever. Right now I'm 175, but might be going up this year just because tanning costs are going up a little bit, and want to kind of keep that going. So another little fleshy piece that just pulled off. Not a big deal. Like I said, that'll salt dry. So that's it. That's fleshing a deer hide.